Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I'm here to talk about Phillipe Lins versus Iwan Cutelaba. Cutelaba's 29 years old, 17-9-1 as a pro, and he's given up 1 inch of height and 3 inches of reach to 38-year-old Lins, who is 17-5 as a pro. Phillipe Lins is a former heavyweight and a former heavyweight champion of the PFL, or their tournament championship anyway. He won $1 million in their first season and got some impressive wins there. Josh Copeland, round 4. Alex Nicholson, Jared Rosholt, TKO'd all those guys. Then making it to the UFC, he looked like he was going to be a heavyweight, but then he cut down to light heavyweight after the loss to Andrei Arlovsky, I believe, which is his only loss by decision. And since making it down to light heavyweight, he's looked pretty damn good. Looked reinvigorated, beating Marcin Prachnio, steamrolling OSP, and beating Maxim Grishin as well. And at 38 years old, looks like a whole new leaf for Phillipe Lins. He does have 5 losses, and 4 of them are via TKO. One of them's an injury to that guy who submitted Volkan Oezdemir. And the other 3 are via TKO. Tanner Boser, Vadim Nenkov, and Kleber Silva all TKO'd him. He's definitely a guy with a questionable chin, and especially at 38 years old, I think all 38-year-olds have questionable chins anyway. But yeah, haven't seen him get TKO'd a few times. It's certainly in my mind, and I bet it's in Iwan Cutelaba's mind as well. Iwan Cutelaba is a seek and destroy fighter. This guy's a fucking monster. Comes after you in round 1, often with reckless abandon, and it doesn't seem like he really gives a shit what happens. Just wants to get the first round finished. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. He's got 17 wins and 15 finishes. 13 of them by knockout. So that's generally how he gets things done, but it's not pure standing. He's a guy that will seek and destroy you on the ground. And Iwan, he's a savage on the ground. He got one of his more impressive victories, getting Khalil Roundtree out of there. Just dominated him from up top and knocked him out with elbows. Iwan Cutelaba, he's as dangerous as he is in the beginning of the fight. That's as weaker as he is later on. He's what we'd call a front runner. Falls off a little bit down the stretch. He does have 9 losses. 7 of them are via finish. He lost by TKO 3 times and submission 4 times. He's only ever lost to really good fighters, by the way, all in the UFC. I think they're all in the UFC. Kennedy Nzechukwu and Magomed Ankalaev are the guys that TKO him. Ankalaev got him twice because Iwan was faking being knocked out, I think, in the first fight. Although I think he kind of was knocked out. I still don't know what the fuck was going on there. But anyway, Iwan Cutelaba was submitted by Glover Teixeira, Ryan Spann, Johnny Walker got him out of there with a rear naked choke last year. He's been submitted by some really good guys and overall dangerous guys as well. And the one guy to beat him by decision is Jared Cannonier, of all people. That was when Jared Cannonier made a brief pit stop at light heavyweight, between heavyweight and middleweight. And Dustin Jacoby does have 1 draw as well, which I should mention. That was against Iwan Cutelaba has a draw against Dustin Jacoby. He was dominating early and then fell off down the stretch, as you might imagine. That's how that fight went. And really, in any fight on the card, if I'm going to say bet on a draw for this fight, it's probably with Iwan Cutelaba. But here, I'm picking against Iwan Cutelaba. I'm picking against him. I do think he could win by round 1 knockout, and I bet on it at plus 275. Yeah, sure. But Phillipe Lins, or really anybody that's remotely competent fighting Iwan Cutelaba at plus money, I'm going to play him. And I think Phillipe Lins, I'm picking him anyway. Phillipe Lins, if he doesn't get knocked out early, it's his fight to lose. He's a well-rounded guy. Solid physical advantages against Iwan Cutelaba coming down from heavyweight. Could make shit work for him at range, and certainly on the ground, he's going to impose himself. He's going to be better, certainly down the stretch in this fight. If he should find himself in round 2 or 3 with Iwan Cutelaba, I imagine he's better at everything than Iwan Cutelaba. Which is not to say Iwan Cutelaba's total dog shit down the stretch. Like, he's just so fatigued he can't even spell his own name. But it's definitely a concern. And I think if he finds himself there, he's going to be finished. And that's what I'm picking. Phillipe Lins to get a finish in round 2. Couldn't tell you if it was by submission or knockout. I can just tell you that I bet on it. I bet on him to win in rounds 2 and 3. Plus 750 and plus 1,000, I think. Phillipe Lins, he's a guy that gives me a lot of doubts about his chin. But with the way he's looked as of late at a light heavyweight, I'm inspired enough to pick him and bet on him. So that's what I'm doing. Phillipe Lins, please don't let me down. Although if you do let me down, let it be by round 1 knockout. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit, and check out my other videos.